Okay, so I think we have only about 7 people here, so that's okay. Meaning each of you all can ask more questions lah if you have a lot. So let's. I mean it's free for all lah, but we try to sort of keep it like each person don't keep asking the question, like give others people a chance, and if nobody wanna ask, then you can ask some more lah. So okay, who wanna go first? Okay, before that, let me just give a short introduction of myself since this is the first so-called AMA question. So, I'm basically from I'm currently 34 years old. My trading journey start back in about 2013, 2014, like that, about 7 years ago. So from then until now, I have been trading stocks quite frequently, mainly in Singapore market. And it is only recently that I venture out into US and Hong Kong market. At the same time, I do trade Forex once in a while, but not very often. I'm not really great in trading Forex because of the leverage involved, and the price movement are also slightly different from stocks. But yeah, so that's basically about me for this trading. And I'm personally quite active back in quite a lot of Facebook group and on Hardware Zone about 2015, 2016 until I settled down and make this own Facebook group for myself lah. Yeah, so that's basically about it. So okay, the floor is yours. Who want to go first? You are free to speak. I put the mute option as you can unmute yourself. Wow, everyone's so quiet. No one wanna ask anything. If nobody got anything to ask, then I can probably end the session already. Okay, so first question from Marcus. What is your criteria in choosing what stocks to buy in? Okay, so number one, my stock picks are always from my scanner. So my scanner usually gives, depending on the market, my scanner usually give me about 5 to 6 counters. Singapore slightly lesser. Sometimes Singapore every day there's like 3 or 4 counters. Some days only 1 or 2. So it's quite straightforward. But for US and Hong Kong, right, there is much more choices. So the scanner tends to show probably 10 over counters like that. So how I choose, right? Typically, let's say I'm going to give you a few example on my chart. So I have a prop next chart here. So actually prop next came up on my scanner quite a lot of time. So firstly, it came out here very long time back, and then it came out somewhere here like that. It also came up here. I think this was when my first trade call came in, but it was not on Patreon. I think it was on Patreon, but it was very early lah. So whenever I see something come out on my counter, right, the first thing I look at is number one, the trend, the long-term trend. So prop next, you can see that, okay, let me try to replicate the actual time. Okay, so let's say, oops, well, yeah. Okay, so prop next came out on my scanner on this candle. So definitely by when you see this candle, the market closed already lah. So you have to enter the next day. The next day price will probably be around the opening price. So once I see this, right, how I choose is that number one, I will look at the trend. So for Propnex, the trend is like it was initially flat, but after that it's going up. So trend wise is still okay. It is going up, starting to go up trend lah. So it's all right. That's a good thing. Number two, I will look at the candle also. So the candle is like, if I see this candle, this is quite a bullish candle and the volume is quite good also. So I think this is another good one. Then after that, I will ask myself, if I were to enter this counter, where will my stop loss be? So the stop loss is a very important question, because that's how I base whether I should take my trade or not. I do not base my trade where can Propnex go up or not. If Propnex go up, I buy. No, I do not base my trade on that. I base my trade on where is my stop loss will be. So let's say Propnex, right? The stop loss that I will want to place is somewhere here. So the stop loss in my trade setup, right, is not anyhow place one. There is specific criteria where the stop loss is chosen, and the criteria I cannot reveal it lah, because it's only taught in my course. So which is why in the trade setup, I just give you the stop loss. You have to follow it by faith lah. So for this case, let's say the stop loss is here. I'm gonna place my stop loss here. So based on this, you have to ask yourself, if the next day opening price is here and the stop loss is here, can I handle this much loss? If you can handle, then it is a go. This trade is good to go. I will go. So for my case, I feel that personally, I feel that I can take this trade, which is why you will see Propnex coming up. And also let's look at Franken. Another example, Franken. You can see Franken today is actually a very good volume also. But I think previously my Franken call came during, when was it? When was the Franken call came out? I think sometime November. I think should be this candle. Franken call came out on this candle, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So for Franken, same thing. When this came out on the scanner, I look at the trend. So the trend is quite okay. It is going up. Then right now it is sort of sideways, but it's still, it's like different from Propnex. Propnex was sideways and going up, but this one was going up then sideways a bit. It is still okay. So my criteria for trend is still all right, as long as it is not a downtrend. So you can see that for downtrend stuff, right? Semcorp Marine, right? I went into a obviously downtrend and I got stopped out. So that's one of the reason why Semcorp was, I personally thought it was a bad trade, but rather it was more of a gamble. If I'm not wrong, I don't know if I give it a risky that tag or not, but I think I forgot already. I can always recheck lah. So for Franken, trend is everything good. Secondly, the candle is a very bullish candle. Next, thirdly, where should I place my stop loss? So for this, my stop loss will be around 90 cents. So I feel that next day, if it open the market price here, right, can I take this loss? Yes, I can take it. So I enter. So in none of my trade, I will ask myself, can the price go up or not? No, I never ask myself that question. I only ask, is the trend good? Is the candle bullish? And where is my stop loss? So if everything is okay, then I will give that candle good to go lah. So I will trade that candle. So yeah, I hope that answer your question a bit more clearly. Okay, next one. Any more? Let me look at today's scanner to see if any. Okay, so today's scanner is, let me check. Today's scanner came out quite a lot of stuff. So let's look at one that not really very good. Let's look at Fuyu. Let's look at Fuyu. Wait, okay, so Fuyu, if you look at Fuyu, actually it's quite okay also. The trend is up. The candle is okay. The candle not very bullish. It's not like a very decisive big candle like that. It is very small candle. So this one I might give it a miss. Compared to, of course, compared to Franken, you can see that Franken is a very decisive uptrend, then break the resistance. The candle also very good. So I will probably give Franken more, consider a better trade compared to Fuyu lah. So probably I will post this trade setup for Franken later, because it's a good setup, and it came out of my scanner. Next question. Do you consider fundamental or just technical analysis? Okay, from Stephen Tan, do you consider fundamental or just technical analysis? If no fundamental, why not? Okay, so I only consider technical analysis. I don't consider fundamental. Why not? The answer is very simple. I am not expert in fundamental. So in stock trading, right, you don't pretend to be expert in things that you are not. You see traders, sometimes the vaccine come out, suddenly a lot of vaccine expert. Then when all the Brexit going on, a lot of Brexit expert. So trader tend to act expert in a lot of things. Where, for example, even if you want to talk about vaccine, right? I work in pharmaceutical industry for 10 years. I'm still in that same company that does drugs, cancer drugs. In fact, my company right now is dealing with COVID-19 drugs. But the thing is, I don't consider myself an expert in vaccine, because I don't know what are the fundamental behind vaccine production, vaccine storage, and stock price movement. Yet I see it on Facebook, I see it on a lot of forums, all these traders who have really no business in the vaccine or drug industry, trying to share their thoughts and trying to share a lot of things. They feel this will happen, that will happen. So because of that, right, if you don't know something, don't make it as part of your criteria in entering a trade. And the thing is, for most of my entries and exit, they last around 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. The longest counter that I hold for a trade is 3 months. So for a 3 month, right, fundamental doesn't really come into play. Most of the time, fundamental are going to, for it to come into effect, you probably need like a few years, 2-3 years. So most fundamental and analysts, right, what they do is they try to buy undervalue counters. They try to buy undervalue counters, the intrinsic value lower than the current share price, and then they buy and then they wait for the price to go up. So this kind of stuff, right, it takes a very, very long time for that price action to take effect, for the price to move from an intrinsic value to a overbought value. But most of the time, people come out with fundamental analysis. They come out with the intrinsic value. They place a trade. Then 2 weeks later, they exit ready. So they are not really playing with their fundamental analysis also. So it's like it's a very it's not a very good thing where you make a trade based on fundamental analysis, but you buy and exit is like the time frame is very different. So my answer is very, very simple. Because I am not expert in fundamental analysis, I don't know how to make use of it, which is why I don't use it at all. I stick to what I know, which is technical. It works for me, and I will keep using it. I don't feel the need to include other variables that I have no knowledge. Okay, so so a lot of questions start to come in now, one by one now. So next one is from Henry. Can you share volume price analysis in choosing which stock to buy after looking at cancer result? Henry, I just went through how to buy based on how I buy based on when I scan in scanner in the first question lah, when Marcus asked what is your criteria in choosing what stock to buy. So volume price analysis is not something that can be shared in this kind of short 1 hour session lah. It's actually a very, very broad topic. Not only it's a very broad topic, it will invite a lot more in-depth discussion. So it's not something that I can share here. but there are a lot of volume price analysis on the on the internet, which you can definitely look up. But what I can tell you is that the volume price analysis covers a very small percentage of how I choose to enter. How I enter is still largely placed on the momentum, how big the candle, whether it has breached any resistance, or whether it is slowly coming up from the support. So you can see sometimes price stay at the support for very long, then suddenly a big green candle spike out. So that kind of thing will be captured on my scanner, and I will enter at that kind of candle lah. So an in-depth volume price analysis I don't really use in my trade setup, mainly because it is not necessary. It is not necessary in my trade setup lah. So I don't really look at it. Although my scanner itself is based on volume price, I can't reveal the criteria, mainly due to because it is something that once I reveal, I'm not going to be making any money already lah. So it's that simple lah. But I can't share in depth because it can't be covered in the scope of this small session lah. But rather maybe in the future I will try to cover bits and pieces here and there, short write up in my Patreon, so you can look forward to that. I think it is a good and accurate analysis that you can apply, but yeah, I can't share it here. Do you put trade before market open or after? Do you wait to see what is the opening price? Okay, this is a good question from Eugene Nun. The most common kind of trade I place is usually before market open. So like most of you, right? I'm currently working full time also. I don't trade full time. I don't do my course giving full time. I have a really legit full time job. So most of the time, right, I'm trading like I don't trade during my office hour lah. So most of my entry comes in at 8:50 during the opening auction lah. So I will put my trade during before market open. Either that, or when I see a trade that before market close around 4:50, 4:30 like that, I might also put in my trade there. So let's say if a scanner give me a counter and I look at the counter and I see that, okay, this setup is good, it meet all my criteria, I'm going to enter, right? Next day I will enter at the opening market already. So do I wait to see the opening price? Yes, I do wait to see the opening price, but I only wait to see for the whether it is like a very big gap up or a very big gap down. If it's a very big gap up, then obviously it's going to be too far from the stop loss that I have set. Then it might not be worth it to chase ready, so I will simply let it go. Or it could be a very excuse me, it could be a very big gap down, and it might gap below my stop loss, or it's a very bad news coming out giving a very big gap down, right? Then I am definitely not going to chase it really lah. So as long as there's no major gap up or gap down, right, I will still enter. So for one very good example is iFast. iFast before that huge gap down, right? It actually came out of my scanner, and I actually thought of entering the next day one. But when the market opened on that day, right, I saw like 30% gap down, right? I'm definitely not going to enter already. I'll just like let the trade go. Next from Gary. If one day there are a few counters, are you able to advise us on which is the best or preferred counter to trade? According 1, 2, 3, 1 is more preferred based on your experience. Okay, so the thing is, if there are the way how I pick counter is within the scanner. If there are 5 counters, I will briefly look at the 5, and by one look, right, I will know which trade I want. So I'm not going to go and look at all the 5 counter and give you like a priority system. Like, okay, you trade this, you trade this, you trade this. I am just going to pick one that, okay, I'm going to trade this, and the other 2 I'm not going to care. So if there is a counter that shows up and I immediately see the chart, I know I don't want to trade, right? I'm not going to even bother asking myself where should I place my stop loss or what. I'm not going to bother with all those, because number one, if you look at Hong Kong, there are 20 counters a day. I'm not going to go through all 20 counters and give it like some kind of priority system like that. Once I give this kind of priority system, right, let's say I rank this 1, 2, 3, but suddenly next day 3 went up, but 1 and 2 doesn't go up, then there will be a lot of questions some more. So we're like, how do you rank this lah? Why 3 go up, 1 never go up, but you say 1 is the most preferred? And how do you even rate this counter? Because you can't definitely because you can't predict the future. Maybe one might go up, the other one might doesn't go up. So the way I rate the counter, right, might be different from how you all think I rate the counter. So in that way, it's going to invite a lot of confusion, and it's not worth the effort, because the result is also the result from you guys, the result that you guys get are not going to be very beneficial also, because end up that ranking will confuse you, and it wouldn't benefit you, and it is at the expense of me putting in so many hours and nobody benefits. From Marcus Ho, for some trade you enter using market order, do you shift stop loss or target price if price entered higher than your possible entry? Okay, so two things that I never shift. Sorry, one thing that I never shift. I never shift my stop loss. If the market open much higher than that my open very high that is too far from my stop loss, right? I do not compromise my stop loss. I simply do not trade that counter. Either you don't trade the counter, or number two, you lower your lot size. So maybe you intend to go in 20 lots, but the price jump up in the opening. So because the price jump up in the opening, your entry to your stop loss is much wider, right? You are not going to simply enter 20 lots also. You want to reduce your lot to 15 lots in order to make up for the fact that price open higher. So stop loss, never ever compromise stop loss, never shift stop loss. Target price, maybe I will shift here and there, but most of the time, right, even if it gaps up a bit, I will still stick to my target price. I don't change my target price also. But there's a very good reason I don't change target price, because I have a extremely specific system on how to take profit and how to write the trend. So this system is it cannot be revealed on Patreon, because once again, it is taught to my cost. But one thing I can tell you is, whenever price hit my TP, I do not TP everything. I leave a bit there. So that's one hint that I can give you. Um, Okay, from Henry again. Some of your trade setup as few target. How do we choose which target to exit? Okay, so this the same as my answer will be same as answer to Marcus. So let's say there are one target, two target, right? There are two things you can do. Number one thing you have to be number one thing that you no need to be worried about is, you follow my stop loss. If you hit the first TP, rest assured that your risk reward ratio is consider it's consider at least 1:1 lah. So I will never risk more than 1:1 in terms of risk reward ratio. So even at TP1, right, your risk reward ratio is good enough. So as long as you can achieve more than 50% hit rate, right, you are going to be profitable. But let's say there are two TP, how do you sort of, after it hit TP1, do you keep or do you hold for the second TP? Number one, this is entirely up to you. Number two, how I handle this, as I said, is I have a very specific system that cannot be shared in Patreon. But what I can tell you is, like I said, I do not TP fully. I keep a bit so that it can go up to the TP2. I will wait for it to go up to TP2. If it doesn't go up, then just let it be. If it go up, then good lah. But I will keep a bit of the share there. So for you, you can decide how you want to play it. Do you want to TP 50%, keep 50? Do you want to TP 70, keep 30? Do you want to TP 80 and keep 20? That's up to you. It depends on what you value. Do you value cash in pocket first, or do you value future potential earnings? But of course, sometimes if I mean, if you, let's say, once the TP hit, then there's a resistance, you want to TP everything, then that's entirely up to you lah. But as one thing you have to know is, as long as your first target hit, right, you already have a very good risk reward ratio. Anything above the first TP, like your TP2, TP3, right, they are considered bonus. That is why personally for me, I only keep a bit. I don't TP 50, I don't TP 40%. I only TP like majority of it, and I keep a very few of my portfolio of that share in order to write the remaining TP2 or TP3 if there's any. If you are a $40 subscriber, you have access to my open and close position. You can actually see how many percentage of shares that I leave behind. That's one hint that I can give you lah. For Eileen, for your trade setup posted, would you recommend that one to take trade immediately the following day, or can still enter after a few days have passed, even if price may have decreased based on your recommended entry price? Okay, so this one for me, I enter if I want to enter, I enter immediately the next day. I don't wait to see the price will go up or not, the price will go down or not. I don't see that. If I want to enter, I enter immediately. I don't care what the price is, unless of course, as I mentioned, if the price gap up a lot or gap down a lot, then I will change my mind. But aside from those two rare scenario, right, I will enter immediately the next day. So most likely you did not enter. I will assume because you missed it, you didn't see it, so you did not enter. But let's say you missed it for 1-2 day and you see that price is still somewhat there, it's not moving much, you can definitely still enter. You can still enter. But the thing is, the but a better question to ask yourself is, do you still enter? Do you still want to enter that one or not? Maybe the next few days there will be more trade setup coming in that you will prefer already. You don't want to enter that already, because I can tell you there is never there's never shortage of trades to take. There's always be trade setup coming in almost quite frequently lah. So if you miss one, right, you don't need to sort of keep looking at it and see should you enter the next day or not. You can always go and look for another one lah. But I personally will always enter the next day. The only time I miss it is that because maybe I'm busy during the market opening, or I forgot to place my trade or some other thing. But if I miss that trade, right, I will not look at it already. I will simply go and look for next trade ready. I don't go back to see any miss trade lah. I will always look for a new trade, because there always be new things to trade. But if you choose to trade even though you missed it, right, keep to the same stop loss and the same profit target, and you make your decision based on that. So if price go up by a bit, then you ask yourself, can you, now that price gone up a bit, can you handle the stop loss there or not? If you cannot, then go and look for something else. Okay, how much? Okay, Henry, this one is a bit more specific already. So this one I really cannot give you a magic number. Guys, the thing that you guys need to know, right? Every one of you, most traders, they like to look for a magic number. Like they want, okay, how many days should I hold before I exit? What is the EMA number you take? So they always want a magic number. But the thing is, when you come to this stage, right, a magic number, I cannot give you a magic number already, because for example, a 20-cent counter, 5 bit is actually a lot. For 20-cent counter, 5 bit is 25 cents. That is like 10% already. But for a 90-cent counter, 5 bit is not even like 2-3% like that. So it's really, you need to do your own due diligence really. So and also I don't know how much your account is. So how much are you going to trade? How much are you risking? If my account is 100K, only 1%, meaning that's $1,000, then 5 bits is definitely okay for me. But it will not be okay for someone with a $3,000 account on a CFD that is like taking 10% risk. 5 bit is definitely way too much for them. So this one is really DYODD really. I cannot give a magic number. What are key things we learn from taking your trading course? Okay, the key things, right, Steven, very good questions. Is like, it's like me giving free advertisement. So my course, it teaches, the main core thing that I teach is risk management. Second thing, I think this is what most people want when they come to my course. You get the scanner for free, a lifetime. Not only that, you are not getting the screenshot, you are getting the trading view. I reveal the entire criteria that I used to set the scanner in my trading view. I revealed that to them, so they can actually run it every day, every time they want. Then they make their trade based on that. Some of them even run it on an hourly basis to take intraday trade lah. So that's one thing, but that's not the main point lah. But the main point is I will teach you how to choose a proper stop loss. A proper stop loss is very important, because it decide whether you stay in the trade or not. It is not a risk management issue. It's not a risk management tool. You don't set a stop loss to tell yourself that I can lose this amount, but you set a stop loss to tell yourself that, okay, if 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 price reach here, I'm going to be stop out. But as long as price does not reach there, right, it can still U-turn up. So a very good example is Raffles Medical. So you all see Raffles Medical. I placed my stop loss at 8.2, but it went all the way down to 8.25 and it U-turns up. So in this kind of situation, right, if you do not place your stop loss properly, right, you are going to get take out from your trade with a big loss. Not only that, you will miss a big profit. So the stop loss is set there intentionally. It's not a we luckily set there like that. It is set there intentionally. There is specific criteria, specific step that we rules that we follow to set that stop loss there. So my course basically teach you where to set the stop loss. And from just now, as I explained how to use the scanner, right? You use the scanner, you see the candle, everything nice, and you set your stop loss. So with these two combination, right, you are going to get a lot of winning trade in the process together with a little bit of risk management, and you will be very profitable already. So my course basically focus on that. In no way, in no portion of the course, I focus on where to enter. I never give any criterion on where to enter. All my course trainee right now, right, they enter all any trade they want, they enter any price they want, but all of them are profitable mainly because they know how to set the stop loss, and number two, they know how to use the scanner. That's why in my survey response, I stated one portion that entry and exit are the least important thing. There are a lot more other important thing. And of course, another key thing is I will teach my trainee to be how to mentally prepare themselves, how to be in the mindset of a retail day trader. Because I can see that the way most people ask questions on forums, on Facebook, the kind of question they ask, the kind of stop loss they put, I can tell that their mindset is very wrong. Their mindset is not in the right place to be retail trader. But majority of my course focus on changing that mindset and making sure that instead of predicting where the price is going or whatever, right, I teach them how to enter from a risk-based perspective. As I shared earlier, the if I can handle the stop loss, I will enter. I do not enter because I think price can go up. I enter because I think that I can accept the stop loss and the risk. Excuse me. Eugene Nern, some of the trade you posted 1 or 2 weeks ago, can you still enter the trade if it's still within the entry price? Okay, so number one thing, I think this is a good question also. Number one, whenever I place the trade setup, right, it is my intention that maybe in the next 1-2 days I can TP lah. So that's the best case scenario. I do not intend for the price to be stuck there for very long. I mean, no, nobody wants that lah. But if let's say if let's say I put a trade setup and the price stuck there for like 1-2 weeks already, right? Then maybe even though it doesn't hit the stop loss, it can eventually go up and hit the TP. Who knows? But it is just not happening right now. If that's the case, right? Maybe I will not go for that already lah, because there will be a lot more trade setup coming in. I will go and find something else lah. I won't look at a trade setup that is 2 weeks ago and go and enter, because for me if I look at a trade setup today, I will enter next day already. I will not go back like 2 weeks ago, the counter that I see can enter or not. I won't do that lah. So I'm not sure why most of you does that. Is it I'm not sure, is it because like you all see a counter in my scanner that you all really like, but you somehow scared to enter, and then 2 weeks later you want to enter again? I'm not sure if that's the kind of things that are happening. So I don't do that lah. I don't do that. From Harry, is your course conducted on weekend only or also on weekday night? Some of the weekend we are not able to make it. Can we reschedule or make up for it? Okay, currently as it is, the course are conducted on weekend only, but in the future, so the next batch is 2021 March. So in 2021 March, that March batch, right, it will only be on a weekend. But I have intention to start giving weekday course also sometime next year, June like that. So it will be the third batch lah. So you can probably wait for the third batch, or maybe I might run it concurrently with the weekend batch. I'm not sure yet, but currently the only batch that is confirmed is the weekend batch. So yeah, sorry, I'm at my balcony here, very noisy. But I do have intention sometime in the next year to have a weekday batch also lah. They can always reschedule. They can always reschedule, but there is a very limited days where they can reschedule lah. So for example, I'm giving course like currently I'm giving course every Saturday and Sunday. So if you are a Saturday guy and you can't make it, you can reschedule to Sunday. Or if you are a Sunday guy can't make it, you can reschedule to a Saturday. But I cannot reschedule to like Monday or Tuesday like that. So you are confined within that certain days lah. If you register for the course, right, I will definitely tell you what are the rescheduling policy lah. I'll make it very clear because I think this is some of the important. I mean, it's a 3-month course, so it's something definitely have to be addressed. Again, from Henry, if there are some counter in your scanner that you do not have any trade setup, can we request for it? Currently, unfortunately, no. If I let people do that, I'm going to be doing this like 24/7 already. I won't have time for anything else. So currently, as it is right now, no, because the only reason that I'm not um making those setup is because I don't think that they are a potential. If you feel that they are potential, then you have, if you are if I mean almost from $10 to $40, you all have the scanner lah. So you all can make your own decision also. So this Patreon is not meant for you to not meant for me to hold your hand through everything. There is that you need to make decision on your part. The scanner is there for you to make your own decision whether you want to take the trade or not. The only thing that it does for you is it filter out all the chapalang counter and give you a more potential counter lah. So if you are choosing anything within the scanner, right, you are somewhat a bit consider doing okay already, and of course whether you succeed with the counter or not is have to depend on how you do your lot sizing, how you set your stop loss, how is your discipline, all these. So sometimes I don't enter a counter because I cannot place a proper stop loss. There is no way in the chart that I can put a stop loss which meets all my criteria. So if you request for it, you are going to get a very bad trade setup and you're going to lose money on it. So sometimes I don't do certain things is actually for your benefit, because a lot of people think that like something is good for them, but it's actually not. Like for example, a lot of people ask for intraday, but I don't do intraday because if I enter a counter and even maybe 30 minutes later you only see my entry, right, the price run up like 10 pips already, and you go and rush in chase that counter, right, you don't know where to set your stop loss, you don't know how to do your discipline, you don't have the discipline, you don't have the trade management, end up you're going to burn yourself more than make money, and end up you are not going to benefit. So a lot of things I don't do is actually for your own protection, for your own benefit lah. So I do hope that people can understand that lah. But of course, if you look at a scanner, you see a counter that you like, you want to trade, by all means go ahead and trade. But I'm not giving you, you cannot come to me to give you the green light. You have to take that responsibility yourself. How long is the course per day? Per session is 4 hours. So every weekend you all come for that session, right? Is 4 hours. Sometimes maybe can over drag a bit, like 4 hours 30 minutes, sometimes ends earlier 3 hours 30, but most of the time it's also depend on how much question that the trainee have lah. So you have to understand my course is not like any other course where they focus on huge numbers. A lot of course out there now boast like, oh, they have 30 people sign up, 40 people sign up. My course is intentionally kept very small at 5 people, so that whenever each person need to ask a question, he or she does not feel like paiseh to ask because there are like 30 people there. So most of the time, my current batch, a lot of the trainee, right, they are very relaxed, they are very free to ask a lot of questions, and I will answer them, and none of them get left behind lah. So my main aim is none of you guys who come to the course will be left behind, and most of you, and it's also my hope that all of you finish the course being profitable. That's my main goal. I don't want like 40 people come to my course, but end up only 5 6 people manage to get what I'm saying. So a lot of the time is spent me explaining to my trainee on what they doesn't understand, what they need to do, and sometimes this can drag the hours to like 4 hours, like 4 hour 5 hour like that. But the time that I set aside is 4 hour, 4 hour every weekend. Okay, we still have another 13 more minutes to 11. So any more questions? I noticed more SG. Okay, Eugene, this is a very good question because number one, I specialize in Singapore stock a lot more than US stock. I've been trading Singapore stock for about going 9 years, 10 years. So in terms of their price movement, right, I am more experienced. Like I know how Genting price move. I know how SIA price move. So because of that, I am sort of more in tune with this counter, and I'm able to set a more appropriate um TP level. But whereas US, I'm typically fairly new, probably like only 3 4 months. But most of US price, they tend to be a lot more volatile. So in this aspect, right? Also another thing is a lot of the I only announce TP for those that I myself is in the trade, or if I know that this particular count, if I happen by that this counter hit the TP, right, then I will sort of announce it lah. So the thing is, I am very aware of how most of Singapore stock price are at. If you ask me where is Raffles Medical price today, I can tell you. If you ask me where is like SSS price today, I can definitely, it's somewhere in my head lah. The last price of Singapore stocks is like I remember them lah. So I can sort of like look at them and see whether I will think like, okay, I shared this Singapore stock like 2 weeks back. Let me go and check whether it hit the TP or not. Then I will go and check. But US stock, right? I'm not that familiar. I don't really monitor US market that often also. So sometimes certain US counter hit TP, I might not know also. So I might not announce. Or certain counters, I'm not really in the trade, so I don't know also. So I do make it an effort to go and check once in a while, but at least it doesn't come to me as intuitively as Singapore stocks lah. But that is also an area that I'm personally trying to improve myself. That is to expose myself to more US stock. So currently on my Tiger Broker, I currently have about 12 US stock open. Most of them I simply just enter anyhow. I'm not following any of the trade setup or trade criteria I set for myself. But of course, these counter are not posted on Patreon lah, because they are not as per my strategy. I'm just trying to get a feel for the US market lah, and of course from there I will make sure I make some improvement, and I get more accurate counters lah. But in order for that to happen, I need to trade US stock more often. Thomson Medical lah, is this something I share in webinar? Because sometimes I remember I do share things in webinar that I don't post it out. So currently my Tiger, I don't have Thomson Medical, but I think in my poem I do have it. I can go and check. Probably I will share it during the Sunday webinar, or I can post an update like tomorrow lah. I think now that you say, I think I do have Thomson Medical somewhere. Yeah. Let me go and check. I'll get back. Okay. Last 10 minutes. Any more? Last call. Last 10 minutes. probably have enough for another two or three questions. People who sign up for your course, do the Patreon tier include inside it? Okay, so the first question, people who sign up for your course, do the Patreon tier include inside it? Okay, so the Patreon tier is not included inside, but the thing is, number one, they have the scanner for free, everything. I teach them how to use it, and number two, I teach them how to enter. So all the content that I'm sharing on Patreon, right, they do not need it. I tell them that if they want, I can share it to them for free. They do not need to subscribe, but none of them come to me because they don't need it. They have all the skill, they have all the tools that they need to make their own trade. So everything on my Patreon is like totally of no use to them. Some of them, they does come for my they does come for my Saturday webinar from time to time, but they just there to listen only, but they don't really make use of the information there. They don't follow my trade call on they don't follow my trade call at all on from Patreon. They don't follow it at all. But sometimes things that they want to trade also appears on my Patreon trade call, and they will be like, oh, okay, like I made the trade call, and they also come out with the same thing, and then so they will go and trade lah. But it's they don't need it, not because they want and I don't give them, but they don't need it because they simply see no use for it. They know everything already. Can you explain for the course what is the practical session like? Okay, so the course, right? 3 months. First month I teach you the mindset. Second month I teach you the strategy. Third month is the practical. So the practical is the mindset and strategy you have learned. What I get my trainee to do is they will sign up a paper account, demo account. They will go into the real market with the demo. In my current batch, some of them don't even bother with demo. They go into the market with a real life account, and they start trading live based on what I taught them. And each time they make the trade, right, I ask them to enter into a trade journal. So I actually have a trade journal template that I give them. So they will input all their trade in their trade journal. They will put where their stop loss is. Then at the end of every week, every session, I will look at their trade journal and I will give my comment. I will tell them that, okay, why do you take this trade? How come for this trade the stop loss is like not at the right place? Do you understand wrongly? Do you understand my cost wrongly? And from there, some of them will like tell me what they feel, and from there I can know that whether they understood my content or they understood but they apply wrongly, or they totally don't get it and they are doing all the wrong thing. So the practical is follow up. So how it different from current course is current course just give you unload a bunch of info and then they throw you into the market. But for my course, we have almost 1 whole month of period where I am just basically looking at how you do things, and I will correct them and make sure that you are doing everything correctly. And of course, I will keep a very close tab on their trade journal to see how they are performing. Like for example, if I start to see they are entering a lot of trades like together, right? A lot of trade at one go, I'll tell them, okay, your trading frequency is too much. Okay, I can see that you are taking a very big lot compared to your account size. You are taking too much risk, so I will comment this kind of thing. It's different from current course. You go out there, right? The trainer doesn't know. The trainer teach you, but they doesn't know how you are doing. They doesn't know whether you have a 1K account and then you enter 20 lots in DBS CFD like that, and then definitely you are going to bust your account no matter what strategy you use. Whatever holy grail strategy you use, if your risk management lot sizing is like all haywire, right, you're still gonna fail. So I make sure that you are comfortable and you understand everything before the course end. Is there a final exam for the practical lesson too? Okay, there is no final exam, but at the end of the session, right, at the end of the whole course, they have the trade journal, right? From the trade journal, I will calculate a few things to determine if they are capable to trade the real market. Of course, there are some of them that already trading real market for the practical. So I will tell them if they are able to continue in the real market, or they need to stop and reflect a bit. So there is like a exam, but this exam is like taking all your trades that you have done during the course, and I will compile a number. It will be like a grading system, like ABCD, like that. If you are very good, I'll give you an A. If you are like quite bad, cannot make it, I'll give you a C. Then I'll probably have a one-to-one with you on why you are doing bad, how you can improve. So there is a lot of one-to-one session where if someone is doing very well, I just let them be like, they do whatever they are doing. But if someone is doing quite bad, right, I will go to that person and like I will talk to them privately. Hey, like you are not doing this properly. Is it because you don't understand? Like, what are you having trouble with? So sometimes, right, a lot of people, they have trouble with different things. Some of them have trouble, don't know how to do the setting on the trading view, but they paise to us, so they just do everything with the wrong setting. Or some of them, like they understood wrongly, but they don't really know, but they also like paise to us during the session. Like even 3-4 people, there are some of them that paise to ask question one. So imagine in a class with like 30-40 people, that's even worse. So I do, based on each trader performance, I tend to them one by one lah. So at the end of it, I will let you know your scorecard, and if you are good, okay, like you are free to go and swim the ocean. How much does the 3-month course cost? 3 month is $3,000. Darren Low, yes, my course need the pro tier for trading view, and currently for my current batch, the pro tier is part of their course fee. So I actually subscribe the pro tier for them. And of course, if you are going to be, if you want to be profitable, this kind of little things you do need to pay lah. You cannot expect to make like 3-4 thousand profit, 10,000 profit on market, but you couldn't, you very like now to pay up that $10 a month. Yes, I do you do require the pro tier, and as part of the cost, our that pro tier 1 year pro tier subscription is part of the $3,000. So what my current course trainee are doing is, they will subscribe for they will pay me 3,000. They will subscribe for pro tier for 1 year. Then I will reimburse bank them the money that they used to subscribe. Okay, last question, final question before we end the session. Then hopefully next time, if you all find this useful, right, I can do another session probably once every month lah. Last question, no one. I'll give it like background info. What could you want to elaborate more? What kind of background info are you referring to? Okay, so organization setup is just me. I'm I'm alone. I do have a personal assistant is having doing all the back end stuff. Vision. Okay, the vision here is very important. My vision is that every single trainee that come for my course will be profitable by the end. Hence, because of that, my course is intentionally made extremely exclusive to 16 people per batch. And for my current batch, the March batch, and for the current batch that I'm teaching plus the March batch 2021, right, I do have like over 30-40 registration, and I do not take all of them. I only take 16. And how that 16 are chosen is, if you have registered for my course, you will have received a survey. So based on the survey result, that survey is designed to understand your mindset. And I feel that if your mindset is not suitable for the course, I do not take you, because it is a 3-month commitment and it's a $3,000 commitment. So only those that I feel is right for the course, I will choose them. So that survey is quite important lah, if you do register. And once again, this intentionally small batch is made in such a way that I have time to um, cater to each and every trader who come to my course, their problem, their needs. Each trader have different bad habits. Each trader have different issue that they are handling. So I make sure that every single one of them manage to correct their issue. So that is the confusion. So as it is right now, the same thing apply. I'm going to take only 16, and even in the future going forward, right, the number might reduce and the cost fee might go up, depending, because the cost fee will go up because I'll be adding more and more stuff lah. So for those who come for the first batch, second batch, right, they will be getting all these so-called upgrade for free also lah. So not to worry, if you come for the first batch, you miss out all the upgrade that the later batch have. You don't have to worry about that. But it will be intentionally kept small. I do not know in the future if my course will be very successful, like a lot of people want, or it will die down, nobody want. I don't know, but even if it become like extremely successful, right, I am not going to increase the course size. It will always be 16 people. Or did I say batch 3 is 20? Yeah, it will always be 20 people per batch. I will not increase the course size, even if like 100 people sign up, 200 people sign up. There will be definitely a queue system that will come. So is there anything else after the course, like community? Okay, so the thing is, currently we have like a trade Facebook group or a WhatsApp group. So another thing that I want to mention this about my vision is that at the end of the course, right, I want every trader to be profitable, and they will be profitable by their own merits independently. They are not profitable because I'm giving free trade call like every week, like you go buy this, you go buy that. No, they are independent. They are profitable because they are independent. So currently, as it is right now, my current course, all of my trainee are taking trades by themselves. I'm not calling any trades from them, and they are doing very, very well. Of course, in the beginning, they will consult me. Zor, this chart I read like that, is it correct? Can I buy this? But right now, I'm very close to the end of my current batch, and they are doing all the trade by themselves, and I'm actually very impressed with them. Hopefully, when the course end, right, I will get their consent to sort of show their trade journal to the public as a form of like a testimonial like that. But of course, their name will be kept confidential lah. That's another thing that I value in my course. I don't want to do any kind of like big photo shoot with big huge group. Everything will be very quiet and low key lah. Yeah, so that's my vision. So currently the point that I'm trying to make is, yes, we encourage trading of ideas, but all my traders doesn't trade ideas. Why? Because each of them have their own style. I encourage them to keep their own quirks and own style. Some of them like breakout trade. That person will always keep taking breakout trades. Some of them like to chase penny. He will always be chasing penny. So each of them have their own specific habits. Good habits, like if bad habit, I will ask them not to do it. But certain good habit, they keep to it, so they don't feel the need to exchange trade idea. They are independent. They are very independent. They don't ask each other what to trade. They don't ask for trade call. They don't come to me for like, hey Zor, what to trade. You give me lobang leh. No such thing in my course. Every one of them is independent. After the course, can we still consult you free of charge? Yes, you can consult free of charge after you come for the course. But of course, the main thing is, as I say, at the end of the course, you will be independent. You don't come to me because you are already independent. But if by end of 3 months you are still struggling, right, I will make sure that you will be able to handle yourself. I will be with you until you are independent lah. When's the deadline to sign up? Currently the deadline is not up yet. When it's up, I will definitely close it up. Currently targeted date is end of January. So once January end, I will be closing off already. But do bear that in mind that currently I have about close to 40 registration only. And like I said, I'm only going to take 20. And the way I choose is based on how the survey is done. But let's say if I after I looking at all the surveys result, I still have more than 20, right? I'm going to choose on first come first serve basis lah. So if you are interested, do sign up. Do sign up for it. Oh, you do not receive any survey. Okay, okay. Uh, Never mind. Can you message me privately later on Patreon or Messenger or somewhere? Okay, so we have come to the end of today's session. So hopefully is a fruitful one, and the recording will be uploaded soon later today. So if then I'll be posting up a poll to see whether do you find this session useful or not. If it is useful, then I'll try to do it once every month lah. It's a good way for me to get a bit of your feedback and see what you guys want. But of course do bear with me that I'm a very direct person lah. Sometimes like certain things I'm very direct, and sometimes feelings get hurt lah. So if that's the case, then I truly apologize. But of course at the end of the day, I do want people to keep subscribe to my Patreon, and I do want to deliver things that you guys want if I can lah, if I can without pissing other people off lah. Okay, so thanks everyone. Have a good night.
How they write? Yeah, I also don't know. How these people write.